Good afternoon, you guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hasan Zeki Alp. You know me. I've been presenting you modern programming languages, and within this framework, I will present you Java programming language lesson 7. So far, I have presented you 6 lessons, and right now I will start up lesson 7. Okay, we're going on our class structures. In this lesson, I will present you the usage of anonym classes, and here I define a class name, my Java file 73. So it's gonna be a coincidence with file name and class name, as you remember. And here I define a method here, start method, within the class structure, start method. And within this start method, I simply recall this printing method. In fact, this member function can be considered as member function, and it's gonna be printed such a string here, starting blah 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 blah. And how about another our main method here? So within the framework of within the structure of this main method, I define a new instance for Java file 73. So I call it m, simply m, and here I recall override method here, and by using this access modifier, I will recall my start method here. Okay, and it's gonna be recalling another method here. So it's gonna print out a woo message on the screen, and after that our block is closed here, and it's time to use this instance right now. So m.start method, by using this structure, I use this instance with this start method. So just I have to look back the start method here. So just it's gonna write starting here. So when we run this one, okay, okay, instead of printing the first message, our structure will override, will use override, and it's gonna print out a woo message on the screen. Just it's an example for override method, and let me show you another example here. Okay, I here define this method the same with the previous one. And how about the next main method? Within the frame of this main method, I just create another instance of my Java file 74 class. Okay, and I once again override method once again, and this time I create another instance, and I'll start once again. Just this seems very similar to the previous one. Just I would like to make a quick repeat. Okay, just this is the previous one. Okay, just you have to change the instance of this object instance. Okay, how about the other one? This time here I define and I create an instance of my Java file 74, in fact. Okay, and it's called m first, and I recall override function here, override method, and once again I say wo as a message to be printed out as a result of calling this method, and I here create another instance of my Java file 74, and this time just simply record it by this structure, by using this structure and second dot start. So that will be two here. Okay, that will be two. Okay, it's gonna take a little bit time. Okay. Okay, there's a confusion here, guys. Just I will go on with this one. I here define a class, robot class, and I define a member function here, member variable, and I here define this robot with an argument I, and I here define an instance of, I create an instance of this brain, and just by saying b.think, so I have to define another think method here. This is the recalling for that, and think method is very simple. Just it's gonna print ID and is thinking to the screen, and just the other is class definition and main method definition, and I here assign. This is somehow very new format for you guys, because here I create an instance, and at the same time I assign a value for robot first, and just when we run this one is thinking will be printed out on the screen. Okay, ID will be is thinking will be printed on the screen. How about 76? Okay, this time I define a class called animal, and I define a member function, member variable here, a name. It's going to be a string, and just a name will be assigned as n, because n is a string. And how about my main function? I here create an instance of animal with argument row, and this is another. This time with double B, just to make it distinct from the previous one, I create another instance, and actually I make a logical comparison here. The result of this logical comparison will be true or false, and just I wonder about a first is equal to a second. Actually, just look at this explanation here. It actually compares the references, not the object values, in fact. So that's gonna be true as it is expected. False. Why false? Just think that Robbie and Bobby, Robbie and Robbie will have different memory places, in fact. So when I create it with another one, so it's gonna have different memory locations, and as if it is the same as a class as the original class, we use different arguments, so different memory locations. So when we locate this one, at least it's gonna give false result. Just we can say that the size of memory will be at least 1 byte much more longer than the previous one. I here define an empty instance array here, and just I would like to show exception handling. This is an example for exception handling, in fact. And just when we look at exception, there will be a try part and there will be a catch part. Okay, catch part just stands for messaging part, in fact. So integer a is gonna an instance of integer 2. That means it will have at least two memory locations. However, not necessarily to be assigned any value. And just I would like to print out the memory element with index number 5. Actually, its length is not 5, so it's expected to give an exception error, in fact. Okay, just this is the message reporting section. Catch exception E by giving exception E, and on the screen, on the display, there will be a message and an error occurred. Okay, let me run this one. Occurred, printed. Just it is understandable, in fact, because its length is not 5. In case it was 5, it would say that an empty an empty element or null will be printed out instead of this an error occurred message. Okay, this is another exception handling. I define two member variables. X will be 12, assigned as 12, and y will be 0. And here just I try to divide x divided by 2 by y. So it's expected to give an infinity error, zero division attempt error, and it's gonna print out the value of z. However, it could not print out the value of z because it's infinite. Instead, there will be a message to be given outside with exception E, and this is the error message text, error zero division attempt. Okay, when we run this one, okay, error zero division attempt. Just you can see here, thanks to this message, just when we review our code, just we can catch the erroneous coding, and we can overcome this problem. And this exception handling just is used for this purpose, you guys. And here another example, exception handling. Okay, I here give some simple examples for thread structure. For threads, you have to obey some format structure, in fact. At least you have to decide which command you will use that. Just I here use this run method, and class loader extends thread. In fact, our main class here, thread, so I would like to use loader method, a member of thread, in fact. and within this method, okay, just I'd like to get it printed a hello message on the screen, and this is my class, not main class, just a class, and my class 2. And this is my main method, and here I would like to create an instance of my loader. Okay, here this is class loader, and this is my instance object as called as object, and just what is left, object dot start. I can use this one. Okay, just I'd like to see this message because of this main method. Within this main method, we create an instance of object and also a method of start. Okay, just it's expected. Hello message will be run, will be displayed. Okay, another thread. This time there will be another message on the screen. New thread started for your info. Just it's the best way to understand threads, you guys. You must at the very beginning, at first, very simple, and you have to familiar about the structure and the usage format of thread, in fact, and after that you will use it more comprehensible, more sophisticated algorithms. That's my approach, in fact, for teaching the bits and pieces of this Java lessons. And here I define class A, okay, class A, and it's gonna extend thread main class, in fact. After this, using this modifiers, access modifiers, just I create a method run. When within this runs framework, this message will be printed out as long as this is run. Okay, and within my main method, I create an instance of this class A. Okay, this is keyword, and just by mentioning object.start, okay, this is the keyword, another keyword. Just I will prefer to go in order to run this method, and a new thread started for your info message will be printed out on the screen this time. Okay, very similar to previous examples, in fact. Okay, this time okay, is the same. Okay, this time just I change it runnable mode, in fact. This is runnable method, and I rename this time loader. I make it a loader second, and runnable will be included this time. So the rest is very similar to the previous one, and I here create another thread here. Okay, another instance of this thread, and this time I will use this new assigned loader too, and this case it's expected that new runnable this method will be printed out on the screen. Okay. Okay, this is another loader. Okay, this time I use runnable, but this time I call it another loader for the time being, and the recalling the instance creation is the same with the previous one. Okay, and t dot start will cause to run this method to recall this method, and this message will be printed out on the screen once again. Okay, I just give another example for Runnable, and this time I create a class ALP, and I create an instance of my thread class, and it is called as op, and once again I use op.start, so it causes to run this method, so a buy message will be printed out on the screen. Okay, so we have come to the end of this Java course, you guys. I think there will be only one or two more Java lessons, and thus we'll be finishing this Java lesson series. After that, I will start up a Turkish version of this Java series. For Turkish speaking or native watchers, learners could follow my other courses, Java courses. Thanks for your watching, guys. Bye bye. Do not forget, please do not forget to subscribe my channel. Bye bye.